now we are going to jump into the initial triage and the analysis. So this is kind of the process, how it goes down. We have a SIEM, typically, that collects logs, as we've covered last week. And then within those logs, we oftentimes can identify something malicious that's going on based on event logs, based on network logs. It can help us just to potentially get an initial scope, right? An initial scope of a potential compromise, like how many systems, what kind of traffic has happened, is it any critical systems? Is it endpoints, user workstations, things along those lines? We also can turn into, if you have it available, we can look into an EDR, which basically gets us endpoint telemetry and alerts. So if anything happens specifically on an endpoint that might have not been logged, where the log doesn't appear in the SIEM, we can use the EDR. And that's pretty interesting, of course, right? Because with EDRs, we can look pretty deep into a lot of systems at once, as long as we have the telemetry available. But EDRs sometimes miss things. Sometimes the telemetry is not available because they only log, or the retention policy is usually around a couple of weeks. So if something happened a couple of months ago, we might have to turn into forensic analysis, which is we need to perform a data collection so that we can actually look at any artifacts. And that's when we then talk about data collection, how to go about it, because that's an important process so that we can then perform the forensic analysis, which is going to be mostly done next week. Again, this is not a complete, step-by-step process for every single investigation, but usually how it goes down in a SOC environment where you have most of those tools available. All right, so before jumping into the case, now you understand the setup, you understand the case. As we are looking through things, it's not really peeling back the layers of we find one thing, then the next step, then the next step. This is typically how investigations go, but we might already with Sysmon available in Splunk see everything that happened, right? That still is just one way to look at things, right? The goal is not to reveal step by step what happened. We might actually be able to see a lot quickly, but also we want to understand how we can actually learn about different ways to analyze and find information in different stages of investigation, right? Sometimes you won't have logs, so you need to do forensics. Sometimes you have an EDR, so you just use the EDR. Sometimes you only have a SIEM, so you don't look in the SIEM. I want to make sure that you understand that we are looking at the importance of artifacts and how we can analyze those at various stages of investigation. This is a kind of a disclaimer or like a spoiler alert. We are going to probably find a lot in Splunk, but we are still going to investigate with different ways the same case, because again, it's important for you to understand everything around it as well, and the way how you can go about it with different tools and in different stages of an analysis and response process.